This video may contain offensive language or be frightening to some viewers. Viewer discretion is recommended. I'm an atheist, and I have always been skeptical of the paranormal. Aside from being the most disturbing thing I have experienced, this encounter has turned my model of reality upside down. I was on the bus with my friend Veronica at around midnight. One of us mentioned that I was headed to Waterfront. She made a joke about how we shouldn't talk about where I was going on the bus because I would get stalked. I laughed and joked about it a little too, but I felt slightly uneasy. This is where I believe the experience began. I remember there was barely anyone on the bus. I saw 4 men chatting in front of us. Not that it's important, but for accuracy's sake, 2 men were chatting to each other, and a short distance away, another 2 men were chatting. At the time that I'm writing this, a few hours after it happened, I don't remember seeing anyone else in the bus. I got off of the bus, and Veronica walked me to the Sky train station. I remember paying for my ticket and calling her as soon as I paid to jokingly complain about the fact that they had raised the transit fare by 5 cents. We chatted for a bit. I went down the stairs to the platform for the Sky train to Waterfront, and a girl was sitting about 15 feet away from me. I immediately recognized her from the bus. Though thinking back, I can't recall actually seeing her on the bus. I don't know how she got there from the bus stop to the Sky train station without me seeing her on the way, but I didn't think to question that at this point in the story. From what I can remember, she looked about 9 to 15. Keep in mind, it was past midnight, and she was alone. She was small and slim, and her hair was cut into a perfect grey bob. It looked more like a shiny grey helmet than hair. If it wasn't a helmet, it must have been a wig. I don't remember anything about her facial features or clothing, despite the fact that I only saw her a couple of hours ago, and at one point in the story, I stared at her intently for 15 minutes. I do remember she had an alternative sense of style, and I think she was wearing either a leather or denim jacket. I stayed 15 feet away from the bench she was sitting on. Something about her was disconcerting and made me mildly uncomfortable. When the Sky train came, instead of walking through the doors of the Sky train compartment straight in front of her, she walked the 15 feet to get into the same compartment as me. I remember feeling a little weird about it. I didn't look at her at all while I was on the Sky train. This is where it starts to get really weird. After the Sky train pulled into Waterfront station, I got off it to get onto the C bus. When the Sky train arrived, the C bus was leaving in 20 seconds, so I ran to catch it. Only one other person was running to catch it with me. When I sat down, that girl with grey hair was sitting a few rows across from me. staring straight at me. I immediately recognized her. I don't know how the hell she got onto the bus from the Sky train station within 20 seconds before me, without me even seeing her. As soon as I saw her, I went from relieved that I had made it onto the bus to being on the verge of tears. This is the part that disturbs me when I think about it. Her eyes were completely black. Her facial expression was inhumanly blank, like a robot, and she was staring straight at me. I'm not exaggerating when I say it wasn't human. It was so fucking wrong and unnatural. I have never seen or experienced anything like that in my life. All of a sudden, its face stretched into the most horrifyingly evil smile. It was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen. I cry every time I think about it. I was holding back tears at this point. How the hell did it get from the Sky train to the sea bus without me even seeing it? The sea bus takes 15 minutes to get to the other side of the water, so I watched it for that time. I could not have hallucinated it being there for 15 minutes straight. It was physically impossible for it to get from the same Sky train as me to the sea bus without me noticing it at all. I may have hallucinated the eyes and the smile, but I don't think it's possible that I hallucinated them for 15 minutes straight. But I definitely could not have imagined her sitting there on the sea bus for that whole trip. When the sea bus pulled in, I waited to get off last, and didn't see her on my walk home, though I was beyond terrified for the entire walk. The more I try to remember its physical appearance, the more hazy it gets. All I really remember is the helmet-like grey hair, pale skin, black eyes, and the blank stare morphing into the most disturbing smile I've ever seen. I remember it was dressed in alternative clothes, similar to mine, and what's creepier is that my hair is grey too, almost like it was mimicking my appearance. It totally lacked that thing that makes humans human. It even lacked that thing that makes animals seem alive. It was unnatural. I don't know how to explain it any better than that. This is really scary to me because if it was real, what else is real? And why was it following me? What did it want? Edit. This experience has greatly worsened my insomnia. I'm terrified that it will kill me in my sleep. If anyone listening to this has experienced anything paranormal, an encouraging comment would be greatly appreciated, as this incident has also worsened my anxiety. He walked home in the rain, the raindrops falling on the pavement, turning black the moment they hit the concrete. He shut his eyes trying his best to shut out the terrible visions that tormented him.